Mr. Moolenaar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for being here today. Director Wray, I wanted to follow up with you on some of the comments that you had made. In addition to the cybersecurity issues, you talked about the human sources, the insiders, corporate deception, Beijing hiding their hand in corporate joint ventures, and this whole topic of leverage and beholden to the CCP. When you appeared in October on 60 Minutes, you mentioned you'd seen a variety of efforts by Chinese businesses attempting to acquire businesses, land, and infrastructure in the United States in a way that presents national security concerns. I saw that and I thought that was a very powerful statement. I followed up with a letter to you outlining some concerns I had about an investment in my own district. In my own district, there's a company, Goshen, which is a CCP affiliated company. It's worked with the PLA, and many of its top leaders, including the leader of its North American operations, have ties to the CCP. Goshen is wanting to build an electric vehicle battery factory in my district, and it's been given hundreds of millions of dollars in federal, state, and local tax dollars to do so. To build and operate its factory in my district, Goshen plans to bring 20 to 50 Chinese nationals to Michigan. If that happens, how confident are you that it will not be used for espionage? In other words, do you believe there's a risk these individuals will be spies working in the United States?
Well, I'd have to drill in deeper on the specific example to be able to weigh in on that. But what I can tell you is that a lot of this ultimately traces back to the blurry, if not non-existent line between the Chinese government and its private sector. And their ability, the Chinese government's ability to, should they choose to leverage that authority, that reach, that access, in a way that undermines our national security, which is why acquisitions, buying land, buying businesses, and so forth, while maybe legal, can still raise national security concerns because it provides a vehicle for them to, if they want to leverage that access, to conduct surveillance or other operations that undermine our national security. And we've seen time and time again where they have used that access, leveraged that access to do that. And in a way, it ties into the operation that we're here talking about this morning, which is leveraging in a different sense. The access is the problem. We don't want to wait until they've actually stolen whatever the information is. We need to try to get, as they say in the counterterrorism context, left of boom.
How confident are you in the State Department's vetting process when it comes to Chinese nationals in this country?
Well, I'm not the expert on State Department processes, and I want to be clear, as I said in my opening, that our concerns are not just with all Chinese nationals. Our concern is with the Chinese Communist Party and the Chinese government, and the Chinese government has shown a willingness to leverage insiders who have no origins in China, for example. So vetting is a very important part of our resilience and our national security, but it's not sufficient in its own right.
Mm-hmm. So your concern is with the leverage. They could do that with Chinese nationals. They could use it with other individuals as well. What kind of leverage are you seeing right now the Chinese Communist Party using in this country?
Well, it covers the waterfront, right? So I'll give you one example that's public. So GE Aviation, a major public, very sophisticated company, entered into a joint venture with, it wasn't a Chinese company, but the Chinese were able to recruit an insider at the joint venture. The joint venture was then able to get access to sensitive GE information, which then he used to help Chinese intelligence officers back in China hack GE's systems. So you had the joint venture, which enabled the recruitment of the insider, which enabled the cyber hacking, and then for extra credit, the guy was able to essentially cover the tracks because of his insider access. Now, fortunately, there's a happy ending to that story because GE did what we want all businesses to do, had a good relationship with the FBI and our local field office, and we were able to essentially run a sting operation back against the Chinese, prevent millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars of R&D from being fleeced by the Chinese, and essentially lure an MSS officer who was involved to Brussels, where he was arrested, and we extradited him, and he's now in federal prison. That's what we need to happen more often, but it also shows that if a company as sophisticated and big as GE can fall prey to this, what company couldn't?
So GE did the right thing. If the company was a CCP-affiliated company, would they have done the same thing?
I wouldn't count on it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Gentleman's time has expired. Mr. Kim.